All right, folks, here we are for day 5. As you can see, I got a haircut between now and last episodes, which bundled those. But anyway, we're here, and the topic today is what is a meme? So I'm sure everyone, this is the internet after all, knows of memes as those funny things you see online, pictures and funny words, and this video or higher production quality, I'd flash if you go up there. But in any case, those are memes, but a meme is a much broader concept. So generally, you can look up this definition on Wikipedia or various dictionaries. A meme is an idea, behavior, or style that spreads from person to person within a culture. So conceptually, that's actually incredibly broad and covers almost everything that we do or talk about on a regular basis. But the idea is actually that just people are basically shaped by genes and then memes, where genes are the actual DNA and everything that get passed down, but then memes are the cultural habits and quirks that we build up and learn over time. And obviously you could add a few other delineations into that. But anyway, as far as memes go, the overall approach, and we talked about this in the second daily thought, is that there are these complex ideas out there, and they're simplified down through this process of simplifying or generalizing. And ultimately what that leads to is things that are actually easy to remember, and those are typically memes. So when we look at the memes out there, the reason that those pictures with funny words under them are memes is because they're easy for our brains to digest and understand, and you don't necessarily need to have a full explanation of any individual meme. It kind of just immediately and intuitively makes sense and can be internalized. So, our brains basically work that way. Our brains break down these ideas into a series of memes, and then that allows them to be spread easily. So, if you look at an example, we could take communism, which I took in the article here, and if you look at communism, right, Marx wrote along with Engels the Communist Manifesto, and that's a long document that obviously, if you look at like communism in the Soviet Union or in China, wasn't spread by a bunch of people sitting down reading the Communist Manifesto and being like, yeah, I agree with all of this. Like, obviously there were some people, but that's not how it spread to the masses. How it did spread is that those concepts that were embedded in it, a few people read, but then different ideas filtered out of that were simple and related, and people could relate to. Memes. So an example of this, and you can find images if you search online, is the phrase "workers of all countries unite." Right? That's something that everyone can internalize and think about, and is a meme. It's easily spreadable, and you all could chant it in a crowd, and people excited by it. And on the surface, that just means that workers of all countries should unite. But underlying that, there's actually more content that it's basically kind of pulling along with it because of its context, and people can relate to that. So that's one example, and it's important to note that memes are not necessarily good or bad. They're just memes. They're just ideas. So if you look at like a lot of any political or religious act is kind of say generally a meme, and a lot of these will sound like platitudes, but you take something like the idea or concept of natural human rights. That's a really successful and beneficial meme, and that's not on the surface all that complex, but obviously when someone says natural human rights, there is this kind of underlying basis of all of the arguments that like John Locke I think started way back in I forget when he was exactly around, call it 1600s, that is used to kind of back up that idea, but not many people could actually reference all of that context. So we have to be careful, and we'll actually talk later about kind of what's behind me, what the context is beyond it, and why you should care about it or understand it. But it's important to note that humans tend to talk and tend to relate inherently to the mimetic or meme version of an argument or idea, and can do so without understanding the broader context of what's underneath. So that's all for today. See you guys tomorrow.